What does a lawyer do when they are trying to defend a criminal who has 100% committed a crime, and every single person in court knows it? 1. They do what they are supposed to do, make sure that due process is followed. They are there to protect the rights of the accused, not to get them off no matter what. In a case like that, they should absolutely be advising their client to plead guilty. 2. Their job is to make sure the defendant gets a fair trial, that no wrongful evidence is used, that sort of thing. Even a guilty person gets that, as they should. 3. The point of a lawyer is to ensure that the due process is followed, and the prosecution has all their ducks in a row to ensure they are convicting the accused on a solid, watertight body of evidence. Even on cases where it seems absolutely guaranteed that someone did something, you can't always be absolutely sure. There's got to be proof. If you start throwing people in jail on the basis that they obviously did it and nothing else, that becomes a slippery slope where you start creating precedents on very little. That's the start of bad things if it's allowed to develop unchecked. Or, former attorney here, but I didn't practice criminal law. Just because it's obvious that someone committed the crime doesn't make it certain that the state can convict them. There are rules around how police can collect evidence, rules as to what evidence can be considered by courts and juries, rules about how that evidence must be evaluated, etc. Then there's also the question of what crime exactly they've actually committed. Difference between premeditated unalive versus hot beat, unalive versus reckless manslaughter, etc. There are details that need to be resolved because the punishment can vary significantly. The vast majority of criminal defendants are in the situation where they are clearly guilty of something, but the state must prove exactly what they are guilty of before punishing them. 5. Everyone is entitled to a vigorous defense, even the scumbags. In that case, they should be trying to negotiate a plea deal for their client. But if the client doesn't want to cop a plea, then it's the lawyer's job to poke as many holes in the state's case as possible. 6. One way to think of the defense's job, especially public defenders, is that they are there to keep law enforcement honest, to make sure law enforcement is following the rules, not cutting corners, and not depriving anyone of their rights to a fair trial, etc. When you see a scumbag get off on a technicality, the defense attorney themselves often isn't any happier about it than anyone else. But by forcing the police and AMP courts to abide by the rules, that will help a lot of other more innocent people in the future. I don't envy their jobs one bit, but I'm very grateful they do it.